So as of today, there's really no good way that Atlassian gives us to add multiple assignees to one work item in Jira. So whenever I have clients reach out to me or end users reach out to me asking, hey, what's the best way for us to assign this team, this group, these users to this one work item? I typically recommend one of three options. And to be clear, there is a reason that this is not possible. And that reason is that if there's more than one assignee, you don't really know who is responsible. That being said, there are other use cases for groups and teams inside of Jira, which I will walk through right now. So option one is not an option I would really ever recommend anymore. It used to be a decent option back in the day, but as of right now, there are much better solutions. And that is to tie a custom field to your Atlassian groups. Now, your Atlassian groups are often used to administer access and permissions, so you'll typically get a ton of groups that are not very relevant and not very useful for you. And this is essentially managed by your admins and not your users, which also adds another level of friction to managing these groups in the future. So not a great solution, although it can work because you can associate multiple users to a single group and then assign that group to a work item. It's also really hard to notify this group that they've been assigned a work item, and then it's really hard to track through the groups essentially which work items are assigned to them from one place very easily. The second option is going to be to use the new Teams field. And this is kind of what the Teams field has been designed to do. That being said, it's very, very limited as of today and causes a few different problems. So the Teams field essentially allows you to have members and then a team name. And then you have your teams on your left side. If you go over to your left sidebar, you should have a section here for teams. If you don't, it might be hidden. There we go, teams, mine's on. Teams, there we go. And I could go to my Teams section, and this is where all of my, the newest feature from Atlassian of Teams is laid out. And I could browse everybody in my organization. I could browse all the people, the teams that are created, create my own team, and then check out other teams that I could be a part of. And what's really great here is that you actually have a list of members and then a list of work items that are actually assigned to this team along with goals and a few other things. Now, the limitation here is that they are a little bit difficult to manage as of today. So pretty much anyone could jump in here, create a team whenever they want, and this could kind of get out of control really quick. So there's very little level of management over this today. It is getting better. Atlassian is rolling out a lot better updates, but this is a much better alternative to your Atlassian Groups solution. So this is one I recommend probably 50% of the time to most of the organizations that I actually work with. The last option is to use an asset. And this is probably the most robust and sort of enterprise-grade solution to assigning teams to a particular work item. And this is going to essentially be a custom field that is tied to a specific list of teams inside of your assets environment. And then here you could jump in, assign different users, groups to these teams. So we have a few different people that belong to this team. And then on the actual work item, I could click on Add Object. I could click on one or even multiple teams if I wanted to. So if I wanted to assign multiple, I could just keep going and kind of go crazy here. Click the check mark, and now these work items or this work item is associated to these teams. I could also go back and actually check this out inside of our actual assets environment. And you'll see that there's also a two-way sync right here where we have a work item linked directly to the team and shown everything that's related to it, as well as we have the ability to index this in AQL and JQL. So it's a lot easier to filter on and report on later. So your two options are really using this team field, which I suggest half of the time for teams that don't need a ton of governance and maybe need a sort of lightweight solution as of today. Option two is to create an asset schema and make sure that all of your users and groups are tied to your asset schema, and then creating a custom field, which you can then surface on your work items. That does require you to have JSM Premium to have access to the assets feature and actually set that up, which is why it's a lot more difficult and not as easy to jump into and set up, but it is a more robust, better solution in the long run as of today. I would assume that maybe a year from now or so, the team field is going to be as good, if not better, than a solution like this. And at that point, I'm going to start recommending pretty much only using teams. But as of today, if you need something with a higher level of governance, with better permissions, I would definitely recommend using the assets field. Real quick, I know this looks like a lot, and if you'd rather just have me and my team help implement exactly what I'm showing you in this video, that is exactly what we do. We're currently opening up 4 more slots for our Jira strategy. We only run 4 of these per month. If you're interested, hit the first link in the description below.